When she spoke those words, effective immediately, you'll be reassigned to administrative support, the room froze. 200 faces stared, the projector buzzing softly as my new title appeared on the screen, like a cruel joke. Her tone was steady, deliberate. Mine was too. I simply smiled, gathered my papers, and walked out with the same composure I'd use when negotiating million-dollar deals on her behalf. No argument, no outburst, just silence. And silence, I've learned, cuts far deeper than anger ever could. When we first met, she was still figuring things out. I had already laid the groundwork, the systems, the clients, the team, the structure that held the company together. She was sharp, ambitious, and bold. I saw promise in her. She saw opportunity in me. I mentored her, vouched for her when the board hesitated, and taught her how to survive in a world that devours the unprepared. When she finally climbed to the top, she didn't forget me, she studied me. Gratitude became strategy. The first signs came quietly. My permissions in the system were downgraded without notice. Then came the meetings I was no longer required to attend. The real hit was overhearing her tell the board I'd lost my edge. She said it so easily, as if I were a tool she'd worn down through use. And perhaps, in her mind, I was... But she made one mistake. I was the architect of the company's structure. And architects never forget where the weak points are hidden. The merger she'd been boasting about, the one meant to immortalize her name, relied on a clause buried deep in the integration contract, a clause I had written years earlier. It required my personal digital authorization before any financial or legal transfer could be completed. It was a safeguard I'd built when trust still meant something. No one questioned it. Not her, not the board, not the attorneys. And so, when she humiliated me in front of everyone, she unknowingly handed me the means to dismantle everything she'd built on my work. For 3 weeks, I vanished. No calls, no emails, nothing. While she celebrated her coming triumph, I quietly shut down my corporate accounts, backed up critical credentials, and revoked one key signature, mine. On the morning of the signing, I brewed coffee and watched the sunrise. At 8:47 a.m., my phone began to vibrate with message after message. We can't proceed, missing escrow authorization. Her name wasn't on the approval list. Only mine was. I could almost see her face as the truth dawned. The empire she built stood on foundations I designed, and I had just removed the cornerstone. By 9, the press was told a minor delay. By noon, the buyers walked away. By sunset, the board held an emergency meeting. Her voice, once so composed, reportedly cracked. I wasn't there to witness it, but I didn't need to. I knew that sound. It was a moment when control finally slips away. That night, she called 7 times. One voicemail. Please, we can fix this. You know this company better than anyone. I stopped listening halfway through and deleted it. Revenge doesn't require an audience. It only needs precision. The next morning, I finalized a transfer, moving the escrow rights to a small entity I'd quietly established months before. The buyers signed with me directly. The merger proceeded, but under my ownership. She was left with a fractured company and a pending lawsuit. A week later, she cleared her office. I happened to be in the lobby when she passed by. Her steps faltered as our eyes met. I smiled, the same way I had that day she stripped me of my title. She tried to speak, but I cut in first. You were right, I said calmly. I did lose my sharpness. I had to. It's the only way to make a cleaner cut. She didn't answer, just stared, as the realization finally settled that revenge isn't fury, it's mastery. Now, every morning, I unlock the door to my new office. Sunlight spills across my desk. The place runs smoother than it ever did. The same people who once ignored me now greet me with quiet respect. Sometimes they ask how I managed to turn it all around. I tell them the truth. Never react, never explain. Just wait, because sooner or later, they'll need the one person they thought they could discard. And that's when they learn what silence is really for.